As someone who's worked in the beauty industry for over 20 years as an artist, a formulator, a brand owner, I cannot stay quiet anymore. There are products right now sitting on Sephora's shelf that are charging you hundreds of dollars and cost pennies on the dollar to make, and I'm revealing a massive fake review scandal that proves you cannot trust the ratings on Sephora's website anyways. Stay towards the end because number 7 is going to be the biggest scandal of them all. The first lie on the market is one I've talked about. I did a dedicated video. I'll link it below in case you want to watch the whole thing, but it is La Mer skincare. Creme de la Mer is their moisturizer that retails for $400. $400 for 2 ounces. And the whole marketing story behind this moisturizer is the miracle broth, which is made with fermented sea kelp. Now, I looked at the ingredient deck on this product, and I can tell you as a formulator, it is a bunch of BS. The algae is not even that far up the list. It's kind of in the middle of the ingredient deck, which tells me that it's not a significant amount of it. But when I went to my chemist and asked them to price out what does algae cost, it's a pretty inexpensive raw ingredient. It definitely doesn't warrant the $400 price tag. But what's interesting is I looked at the other ingredients in here. There's mineral oil and petrolatum, which is incredibly cheap. Mineral oil is the absolute cheapest oil that you can use formulating makeup products. Whenever I see mineral oil, my eye twitches a little bit. It's fine in certain things like powders and such, but when it's in a skincare ingredient that's meant to have high quality and more expensive raw materials, mineral oil just isn't it. And petrolatum is what is in basically Vaseline. You can get it at the drugstore for $5 for a big old tub of it. You are paying $400 for a heavy occlusive moisturizer that is basically built on pennies worth of mineral oil and petrolatum. Next lie we have on the makeup shelves is the caviar lie. That is the La Prairie Skin Caviar Foundation. Now I have this foundation. I actually really enjoy the foundation. It's beautiful. It has a nice texture to it. It has a dewy finish to the skin. It blends in beautifully, but at $250, it is absolutely ridiculous for the marketing claim that they are telling you. So I looked at the ingredient deck on this one, and their big pitch is that it has caviar in it, but when you look at the ingredient deck, it's really, really far down the ingredient list, which tells me they have just enough in there to use it as a marketing claim, but not enough to actually be beneficial. And the other thing is, from a chemistry standpoint, the benefits of caviar is that it has amino acids and peptides. You can get those same ingredients for way less cost. In Korean skincare has a lot of these in their moisturizers for $20 for a big jar. You don't have to use fish eggs to get that. There are synthetic versions of that that are even more effective and are going to penetrate the skin. Now here's the kicker, you all. When you have those type of ingredients in foundations, the quantities of it isn't going to be enough to actually absorb into the skin because those ingredients are sitting in a foundation that's basically sitting on top of the skin. You've already put on your skincare, your moisturizer, so any foundation you're putting on the top is just sitting on the skin, not really absorbing into it. The effects of those amino acids and peptides are going to be super minimal. It's not even needed in this formula. You are paying for a massive premium and a marketing strategy of a major brand at $250 a bottle. If the brand had charged, say, $89 for this foundation, I would love it and use it. It would still be an expensive foundation, no doubt, and I feel like it would be more fair price, but at $250, even with it including a concealer in the foundation, it's ridiculously overpriced for how much they are paying to actually formulate this. Now let's talk about the clean lie, and that is the Kosas Revealer Concealer. Now, I did a whole video about clean beauty. I'll link to that below as well. Every time I talk about clean beauty, a lot of people get very offended and upset with me, but as someone who formulates with chemists and works with professionals behind the scenes, every time I mention clean beauty products to the chemists I work with, their eyes roll back. They know it is a bunch of BS. Most of the ingredients that a lot of the people on the clean beauty side are screaming about, such as parabens and things like that, are highly regulated and are safe to be used in makeup. A lot of the alternative clean versions of those same preservatives are highly ineffective and actually cause more damage than good by not preserving the makeup well enough and having it go rancid and bad, thus causing eye infections, which this concealer did. We saw that in the reviews. There were tons of reviews saying that they got a breakout on their skin, their eyes started having problems, they got redness and bumps, things like that. Their concealer started to smell and look odd in the container, and that's because looking at the ingredient deck of this concealer, they were using less effective preservatives. Parabens in itself are not bad as long as it's used at the regulated dosages, which manufacturers have to do anyways. Preservatives are crucial crucial to keeping formulas from going rancid and having bacteria overgrowth, which is going to cause infections on your face. The clean lye is actually putting your skin at risk. Next lye we have is the Suspicious 6, and this is the Drunk Elephant lye. Now this scandal came out a while ago. Their entire marketing identity is built around this Suspicious 6 ingredients, and this kind of goes along with the clean beauty as well. And the truth is, the Suspicious 6, I gotta talk, ingredients that they are saying is so bad for you is created with marketing purposes and not actually based on science. Essential oils and silicones in themselves are not essentially bad for everyone. Will some people have reactions? Of course, everyone has reactions to different ingredients. It doesn't mean it's bad. But more importantly, when you take away their Suspicious 6 marketing and the bright packaging and the fun look of the products, the formulas themselves are shockingly basic. Like this one, for example, their Bee Hydra Serum, it costs $52, which is definitely not a cheap price point. If you look at the ingredient deck I'm seeing in here, it has water, glycerin. Glycerin is a very common raw material that's super inexpensive, and a tiny bit of sodium hyaluronate. I don't know why that tongue twists me every single time. You can buy that same type of formula at the drugstore for $12. So it's a basic ingredient deck that they're charging a premium price for. This formula in particular is a hydrating gel, and that's it. Next lye we have is the Hollywood Glow, the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. Now I've talked about this product in the past, and I actually do enjoy it from a consumer standpoint of how I wear it, but when I go in as a formulator and look at the ingredient deck versus the price point, it doesn't align. So this product is now $50. $50. And it promises this youth-enhancing glow that mimics a social media filter. That's how it's pitched. So when I look at this product and I go through the ingredients, the glow it provides when I look at the ingredient deck, it's mostly derived from dimethicone and mica. Those are extremely common. They are pretty much in every sort of makeup product possible. Mica is a powder pearl that is a natural occurring ingredient. It's not expensive at all, and it's kind of similar to talc, except it has a slight glow to it. So when you mix mica inside of dimethicone, which is a silicone, it kind of gives this slight sheen of a base. It's super inexpensive. It's nothing groundbreaking in there. There are countless other drugstore dupes like the e.l.f. one that I always talk about and love. That's $9 versus the $50 that has the same exact type of formula and gives you the same effect. Charlotte Tilbury as a whole, I hate to bash brands, but that brand in particular, for the packaging you get and the formulas, it is grossly overpriced for the quality that you're getting. The next lye we have is what I call the Vitamin C lye, and this is based around the Dr. Dennis Gross Vitamin C and Collagen Serum. Now this serum costs about $85. There's another one, I think SkinCeuticals was one I used to love, that was even more than that. I think it was $175. Ridiculous amounts. The lie here isn't that vitamin C doesn't work. It does. But the lie is how they are charging you for it. So in this specific formula, they're using ascorbic acid. That is notoriously unstable. As soon as it hits light or the sun, it starts to degrade down and it isn't effective anymore. Most of these high-end vitamin C serums don't have a protective coating on the bottle so the sun can hit through it, or they use this unstable form of the vitamin C so it starts to degrade and it isn't effective anymore before you even use up the bottle. If you ever use a vitamin C and you see that it turns brown, it is already gone bad. It will not work at all. It's basically throwing money away. And the raw ingredient that they're using in this costs very minimal to make. So for example, I will give you my little trick that I've been doing, you all. I buy ascorbic acid online in a pure form, and I take it from the bottle. It's in a powder form, and I start to mix it in with a serum or a moisturizer directly. Now it is going to get just the slightest bit of a gritty texture to it, but for me it doesn't bother me because I know that I'm getting the purest form, and I'm using it right away and mixing it right before I put it on my face, so I know that it's going to be a bit more effective. You can do that. It's super inexpensive online. You can get it on Amazon or several other places, but basically when it comes to vitamin C, you can find much less expensive formulas. I'll link to a couple in the description box for you all that are less than $20, and they're just as effective as the super high dollar ones that you see on the market. Now this lye is what I call the social proof lye, and this is based around Sunday Riley. Do you all remember years ago there was this big scandal that came out stating that Sunday Riley employees were required to make fake reviews on Sephora's website for their products to boost the ratings. This goes into a really big conversation I want to have with you all right now about what's happening on the Sephora site right now with reviews. I've tested it myself. I will show you proof. So the email that leaked from Sunday Riley, it stated that one of the executives at this company emailed their employees telling them to create multiple different accounts on Sephora and rating 5-star reviews for their products. The FTC got involved. They investigated this and found out that it was true. Sunday Riley ended up settling with the FTC for for deceiving customers. Scandalous. This wasn't just a rumor. The FTC actually proved that brands were going onto sites like Sephora and creating fake reviews to artificially inflate their ratings. Now, if one brand is guilty of doing this, how many other brands are there? So I started investigating on the Sephora site. I was almost going to do a video about this last year, you all. When I started looking on, it was actually Ulta. So it's not just Sephora that's guilty of this, but I was looking at Revlon mascaras last year, and I did a bunch of research, and it was a brand new mascara that came out, and I was looking to review it for you all. So I purchased it, but it hadn't been out for just a few days. And when I went to the site to look up reviews of it, there were hundreds of 5-star reviews. How is that possible if a product is absolutely brand new? A lot of people haven't even had a chance to try it yet to give it a fair review. So when I started researching through there and I took off the incentivized review, I saw most of the reviews of this mascara. There wasn't a ton because it was new, were 1-star reviews because of how bad this mascara was. And I tried it myself and it was a horrible mascara. It clumped, it flaked, it did all the bad things. I was like, how does this have 5-star reviews? That's what actually incentivized me to start looking into the rating system. So here is the actual review problem. I have my notes here. So direct fake reviews by employees is illegal, but the beauty industry has massively shifted in the last year to have incentivized reviews. So there's brands like Influencer, Skeepers, Octoly. They will send product to people in exchange for a review. And the data on saturation, so this is from a review, I want to read it. There's a 2025 analysis by Retail Dive who highlighted just how saturated Sephora's site is with paid for opinions. You all can see it yourself. Go to any product on Sephora's site. I do this all the time. There's hundreds and hundreds of reviews that are incentivized. I actually have to unclick the box to see authentic reviews that aren't incentivized by free product. This study that was done, it found that nearly 2/3 of all reviews in that category were labeled as incentivized. In the eye primer category, the numbers were even worse. Over 3/4 of the reviews were incentivized. This is called the inflation effect. Academic research confirms that if people are given free product, they are going to be more likely to give it a positive review because they got that product for free. Now, is that a bad thing to get free product to reviews? Absolutely not. I'm not saying that that is a bad thing in itself, but if Sephora is flooding all of these reviews to a majority, 2/3 are incentivized, it doesn't give you an authentic picture of what the average person is going to say about a product and review it fairly. Brands use agencies now to seed, is what they call it, to seed reviews by sending a certain amount of product to these agencies to send out to people to incentivize them to give positive reviews before the product even launches. So that's why you see when a new product comes out, it could be less than a week old, you'll see hundreds of reviews on there, which is physically impossible if it's brand new. That is why brands are preemptively trying to get ahead of the game and get positive reviews by having a certain amount of product that goes out to these agencies before it goes out to the actual public in store. Now, here's the other research that I found. So there was one highly upvoted Reddit post that someone left a negative review for Supergoop sunscreen stick, calling it a scam because the minimal amount of product for the price. Sephora's system repeatedly blocked that review because it was a negative review. And you may say that, oh, that was just a coincidence. But when you look at this thread, there were multiple people saying that they had brutally honest negative reviews taken down multiple times across different products from Sephora's site. While Sephora claims that this is due to automated profanity filters or guideline violations, the practical result is a sanitized review section where negative reviews is discouraged. So my experience personally from products that I've deep dived on, I've reviewed, I've researched, I study formulation and I test products very thoroughly, and I can usually have a good guide on what the average consumer is going to say, if it's going to be highly reviewed or not. And there have been many products that I have tested where they were awful products, Prada Blush being one of them, that were highly incentivized. And when you take off that filter of the incentivized reviews, you look at the full picture, it does not give you the correct rating of that product. So it's kind of a discussion we need to have in the beauty space. How trustworthy are reviews anymore? Many consumers went to brands like Sephora and Ulta and looked at reviews of everyday people to get an idea of whether that product would work for them, if it was good or not. Because I know that social media space with content creators, you know, I am one, so I have to sit here in this and say, you know, a lot of people don't view content creators as being honest as well. So where can people go to get honest reviews of products? Because it's hard to find now with everything being infiltrated with incentivized reviews, sponsor reviews, things like that. So just a conversation to have in the open. Have you noticed this? Have you had any experience yourself with any products you've bought where you've seen inauthentic reviews of something that you thought wasn't a good product? Let me know in the comments. So those are 7 biggest lies at Sephora shelves right now. If you like this video, click subscribe and come back next week for another makeup video.